Ever since E3 2017, it's been rather quiet on the Metal Gear Survive front. Many were hoping it would stay that way, but alas, I have some news to share with you guys about the highly unanticipated title for those who still care to listen. Here's a game that has already alienated most of the Metal Gear fanbase, and with all the widespread controversy surrounding Konami, like their fallout with Kojima, the way they treat their employees like shit, and their butchering of the Metal Gear franchise, gamers as a whole have pretty much taken to steering clear of the company like a plague. It doesn't help that the game doesn't always do a great job in blending Metal Gear's tactical stealth with the frantic nature of a zombie shooter and the thoughtfulness of a survival game. As I detailed in my E3 2017 hands-on impressions, while the game is mechanically sound as it draws heavily from Metal Gear Solid 5's excellent mechanics, it's still wedged somewhere in the middle of multiple genres that don't always mesh. It attempts to blend tactical stealth with frantic zombie shooting and with survival and tower defense elements sprinkled in, but in doing so, Metal Gear Survive ends up excelling at nothing. Objectively speaking, the game does have its fun moments, and under different circumstances, it could have even been seen as an interesting idea and experiment, but as a jack of all trades but a master of none, I found that it ultimately won't appeal to fans of stealth, fans of zombie wave shooters, or fans of survival. I concluded that the only audience I can see this appealing to is a niche crowd of people who are excited by the prospect of taking the Metal Gear Solid 5 mechanics for a spin in a co-op environment. And now, with the most recent development, the already infamous game is bound to alienate its already niche crowd even further. If you haven't been keeping up, a slew of updates have been making the rounds lately. Konami announced that Metal Gear Survive would finally be launching on February 20th, 2018 on PS4, Xbox One, and PC for a retail price of $40. Yeah, that's about the price point that I expected, considering that the game is basically a mod of an old game, Metal Gear Solid 5. Anything higher than that would have really been pushing it. Now, one thing that Konami hasn't been too keen on advertising is that if you go to the official Metal Gear Survive website and check out their products page, you can read in fine print that the game requires a constant internet connection, even in single-player mode. And obviously, if you want to engage in online multiplayer, then you have to purchase a PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold subscription. That much is at least par for the course nowadays. But in terms of why the game requires a constant internet connection for single player, apparently it's because the game's single player and co-op modes are closely linked together. As it says here on the website, single player takes you through the story of Metal Gear Survive while learning fundamental gameplay elements. These skills will be put to the test in online co-op mode. Progress and rewards obtained in both single-player and co-op mode carry over and apply to your character across both modes. I still don't get why players can't just play offline in single-player and then have that content be synced to co-op once they log online. It's not like this is an online game or a shared world experience or anything like that. It's just one of those games that has both single player and co-op. I've seen many games out there that incorporate both of these modes and sync progress between them without requiring a constant internet connection. And from what I can tell, Metal Gear Survive doesn't do anything too special to indicate that a constant online connection is absolutely critical to the experience. So for them to enforce this for single player is rather strange and will only serve to further disincentivize the game's already small consumer base from buying it. Now, one theory that I have is that this might have something to do with plans to implement microtransactions. I'm not saying this has been officially announced yet, but I'm like 99% sure that there is going to be some form of microtransactions in there somewhere. Metal Gear Solid 5 already employed this feature to some degree with Mother Base coins, which allowed players to unlock additional forward operating bases and accelerate research, development, and construction of weapons, items, gear, bases, and upgrades. With Metal Gear Survive, considering that the game puts a heavy emphasis on mechanics like gathering resources, crafting, base construction, and character progression, I can't help but assume that Konami will take advantage of this to take microtransactions to the next level. Again, nothing's confirmed yet, but making the game online only would allow them to put a tighter leash on things like hacks and cheats and whatnot. That way, players will have no choice but to pay up to accelerate their progress. They could potentially ban anyone who tries to speed up their game progress in any other fashion. I don't know, I'm just thinking of the worst case scenario. Again, nothing's official on the microtransactions front, and I could be wrong about all this. At the same time, knowing Konami, I'm sure they've been observing what major publishers like EA and Ubisoft have been doing to rake in billions from microtransactions, so I would be genuinely shocked if the game didn't follow suit on this abhorrent trend. We'll have to wait and see what happens. All I know is that in my experience, if a game unnecessarily employs DRM, 99% of the time, it is cause for concern. So for those out there who do plan on giving Metal Gear Survive a chance, I'd advise treading lightly and waiting until reviews clearly detail how the internet connection requirement might affect the overall experience. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this video useful, and if you enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon. All contributions will go towards helping us remain 100% independent. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.